I want to welcome everybody back today. Today we're going to talk about the ESC. Yes, the engine speed cruise control. There may be some of you that have never used this before. I know that the first time I saw it, I didn't even know what it was. I am so used to the older style tractors where I used the throttle to do everything. In these newer tractors, all this stuff is electronic now. So let's get up in the cab. Let's take a look at it. Let me show you how to set it. Hopefully this will help somebody that may not know what it is, or maybe they have in their tractor, they just don't use it. Maybe we can give you some ideas of where you can use it. So let's get up in here. Okay, so you have cruise control on your tractor. If you're like me, you've never really used cruise control on a tractor, then it's something new. When I first saw this, it took me a little bit to understand it. Once I started to understand it, it made a lot of sense, and I actually like it. What we're all used to, especially as older generation, is we're used to using the throttle lever to actually increase and decrease our RPMs, especially when we're plowing and we get to the end of a row and we decide that we're going to turn around and go back up that row. In some cases, you may not have to decrease your RPMs, but on the shuttle shift here, I decrease it to reverse the tractor in order to back up and to make my turnaround and then go back down the row. I don't like to just shuttle shift with 2000 RPM. So I will decrease that RPM. And I found that using this cruise control is a really nice feature because it will put me right back to the RPM I was plowing at. Once I'm up at RPM and I'm rolling, I set my plow down and I just go. Let's take a look at how to set this up and how to use it. Okay, we're going to talk about these three buttons right here. The first button here we're going to talk about first. This button right here is a 3-position button. It has a center position, which is your ready position, and then it has basically it's just a push and let go of, and that is for enabling your cruise, which would be this switch right here. So if I push this now and I'm on 1, once I push this, the engine RPM just raised. Now this is activated and I can just use this switch. If I put it on 2, the RPMs will go up again. I think I have it set at around 1940 RPM. So once I do that, that RPM just raised again. If you hit this bottom button, this turns it off. Just like that. Now we're back down to idle. To set my RPMs, I pick one of these two. I either pick 1 or 2, depending on which one I want to do what. For me, I put 1 as my low RPM and 2 as my higher RPM. That's what I do. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and do 1. I will go over here. I will put this to the ready position, and then I will activate it. By pushing this button here, this is the button that actually brings your RPM up and down. By pushing these buttons, I can raise the RPM. Or I can lower the RPM. Once I have it where I want it, then I go back to this button right here and I push it down for about 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003. That is now my number 1. Once I go back to 1, it goes right back to where I set it. In this case, I set it at 1800 RPMs, and that's what number 1 is. Now, if I want to set number 2, I go to number 2. Let's say I want to bring it down. Let's say I want to bring number 2 down to 1500 RPMs. I can take now and hold this button down. That has set it. And now no matter what I do, this is going to be at 1500 RPMs. Number 1's at 18. Number 2's at 15. If I want to turn this all off, I just simply push the off button. That's it. Now, this will not do anything while this button is in this position. Once again, this right here is the ready position. That activates it. And these are your two positions. Okay, like we said, we're going to enable it. And that's our number 2 position that we set at around 1500 RPM. And then this is our number 1 position, which we set around 1800 RPM. Now, in the process of doing this, you can change this to anything you want it to be. Let's say that you're out here in the field and you decide this is not enough RPMs, just go ahead and increase your RPM. Take it up to where you think it should be. I'm at 2000 RPM, somewhere in there. And then all I'm going to do is push this button and hold it for 3 seconds. Now it's enabled. Number 1 is now at 2000 RPM, and number 2 is at 1500 RPM. So on your dash, on your LCD, it shows your RPMs. Now in this case, it's number 1. You see that clock on the side. Number 1 is at 2026 RPM. Number 2 is at 1469. Again, I can increase the speed. And then set it. And now my number 1 is at 2026, and my number 2 is at 1719. You can see the numbers on there that tells you which number is what. Number 1, 2026. Number 2, 1719. So when your first 3-point position switch is in the ready mode, you'll get this light flashing. That just says it's ready to go. Once you activate it, you'll get a steady light like that. That tells you that your cruise control is working. You can also just turn it off and the light will go away. That way you know when it's on or when it's off. So if you look up on the dash and you see this light flashing like that, it's because your switch is in the ready mode. And if you're not using it, you can turn it off or you can activate it. So all your presets are stored. So tomorrow morning, if you get up and go out and decide you're going to get in your tractor and go out and do some more plowing, whatever you preset it to the day before, it's still going to be there. This computer stores those presets. Look, we appreciate everybody that's been tuning into our channel. We appreciate the comments that have come in. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, thanks.